All right, PGA-LIV merger, how it got started. Let's get into it, boys.
Off extra. By now, we all know the basic facts behind the shocking PGA PIF merger that was officially announced in early June. However,
Yeah, so as we all know that the PGA Tour and LIV Golf merged, and all the PGA players were pissed about it because they could have had basically a lifetime worth of money, many generations worth of money, but they turned it down to be loyal to the PGA Tour, and now it's merged, and now it's basically just like everybody who stood tall and was loyal. It just got backstabbed. So it's an interesting deal we got here in the old golf space nowadays. So I guess we'll just have to stay tuned for how this pans out over years to come. So
there is still so much that is unknown about what exactly transpired to get the two parties to where they ended up, as well as what exactly the new organization will look like. Through recent documents that were revealed, though, we do know how the deal got started. Now let's get right into the newly revealed origins of the PGA PIF merger. When you think of the PGA Tour, you probably think of the big-name golfers like Rory McIlroy and
yup.
Tiger Woods.
Mhm.
However, a man named James Dunn III, better known as Jimmy Dunn, is the true catalyst behind the start of the overtures between the PGA and LIV. Dunn is a longtime
So
Wall
he starts
Street
them.
Dunn
He
is a
started them
longtime Wall
both.
Street dealmaker with a history of working for investment banking firms like Sandler O'Neill and Partners, but his connection to the PGA Tour comes
Or
from
he's
his
just a
position as
lawyer
an
type
independent
beat.
director on the PGA Tour's policy board. Dunn also has connections with many famous golfers, such as Rory McIlroy, Ricky Fowler, and Justin Thomas.
Mhm.
Star football player Tom Brady even considers Dunn a mentor, praising him by saying, "When you've been around people a long time, you see the 360. You don't do amazing things by taking three knees and punting, hoping someone else makes a decision for you."
Yeah.
However, it initially looked like McIlroy might have felt a little put out by his old friend Dunn after the news dropped of the merger.
Yeah.
After all,
I would
McIlroy seemed to have
understand
no
that.
real idea that the merger was in the works prior to the merger, saying immediately afterward,
Yeah, that's also the part of it too. Is like they just woke up and all of a sudden you see a whole bunch of like you go on Twitter or all these social media, websites or whatever, and all of a sudden you see that your whole life and your whole job has changed for pretty much what they think is the worst. But so yeah, I could see why they're mad, and I'd probably be pissed off too. So can't really say anything about them getting all angry. So
"It's hard for me to not sit up here and feel somewhat like a sacrificial lamb, and feeling like I've put myself out there, and this is what happens." Despite what seemed to have been implied by that statement, McIlroy did in fact play an important role in the start of the merger. It became
hmm.
apparent that McIlroy, despite his strong public statements against LIV, had a relationship with the governor of the PIF, Yasser Al-Rumayyan. McIlroy described Al-Rumayyan as
Huh.
a very smart, impressive man in late 2022.
And
A
hella
statement
rich
that
probably.
raised eyebrows given McIlroy's vehement public disdain for LIV in the years prior. However, that wasn't all that McIlroy had to say. He also said about Al-Rumayyan that he saw him in Dubai at the end of last year. That was more than just a passing meeting, though. The two had a sit-down chat and discussed the possibility of a LIV PGA merger, with Al-Rumayyan mentioning the possibility of an equalization fund for PGA Tour players who rejected LIV offers.
Okay. Talked about a fund that would pay the PGA players the money that they deserve for not going to LIV, pretty much.
Series of widely publicized statements regarding the possibility of a merger, which seemed more speculative at the time. With the new context that McIlroy was aware of Al-Rumayyan's desire for a merger, the statements deserve
Well,
a
yeah, they
second
wanted a
look.
merger because
Nothing
nobody
will
was
happen if
paying
those two
attention to that.
things suits are still going on. You're limited in what you can do. Then I think from whatever happens with those two things, there's a few things that I would like to see on the LIV side that needs to happen. I think Greg needs to go. I think he just needs to exit stage left. He's made his mark, but I think now is the right time to sort of say, look, you've got this thing off the ground, but no one is going to talk unless there's an adult in the room that can actually try to mend fences. If those two things happen, then things can happen. But right now, it's a stalemate because there can't be any other way. Hopefully, something can happen. Who knows?
Yeah, because basically
Whether
they
that's
were
in the
both
hands
pissed
of a
at each
court
other,
or
so
a
they
judge,
couldn't
or something else happens along the way, no one really knows.
merge.
But right now, it seems like it's a bit of a stalemate. Looking back, it seems like McIlroy's
But they
statements were
merged, and
somewhat pointed
now it's
given his
just all
discussions only a few
nothing's
days
happened yet.
earlier.
But
However, this is where McIlroy's
I don't know
direct
what's to
involvement in the
come.
merger
So
seems to have tailed off. Here, the discussions headed back to Dunn with the addition of English businessman Roger Devlin, who spoke on behalf of LIV. Devlin had been invited to help find a solution to the issues that divided LIV and the PGA by Al Ramayan and British businesswoman Amanda Stavely. Devlin started this pursuit by reaching out to someone associated with the PGA Tour who felt he could help make deals happen. This person just so happened to be Jimmy Dunn. In his first email to Dunn on December 8th, Devlin said that Al Ramayan and the rest of the LIV organization were happy to explore a new combined management structure where LIV and the PGA might work in partnership, especially in respect of media rights.
okay,
Dunn responded with a short but interested-sounding email a few days later, requesting a meeting with Devlin to try and get something started, saying, "Roger, I would like to have a cup of coffee
so
first.
basically
Just
they're
like
under
to
the
visit
same
with you, not to
management.
discuss anything specific, but would just like to know you a little better before anything else, if you're up for that." Devlin responded by pointing out the ocean between them, but he did offer to share a day out on the course with Dunn, saying, "I've always believed the best way to get the measure of a man is to play golf with him." That golf game doesn't seem to have happened, though. The conversation sort of died out from there until January 2023. At this time, Devlin reached out again, saying, "I do detect that since I first corresponded with you a month ago, the Saudi position is hardening, as they are confident LIV will prevail over the long term, if only because of almost limitless financial resources."
Yeah, that's the
This
problem.
time, Dunn indicated that he wasn't interested, but Devlin didn't give up. He reached out to Dunn via email again on April 14th, saying, "As I'm sure you're aware, we have hacked out a very rough proposal through the intermediation of Keith Pelly. This concentrates LIV's schedule largely within the fall season in accordance with Jay's wishes. As a deal maker, you will appreciate timing is everything. I believe we have a window of opportunity to unify the game over the next couple of months. Otherwise, I fear the Saudis will double down on their investment and golf will be split asunder in perpetuity." This time, Dunn was
Also, one thing I've wondered is like, how does the world rankings work with the whole live golf thing? Like, are they even a part of that? But they have to be a part of it because they're able to play in the majors, right? Like, I'm just confused on all that work. So if you know, leave a comment down below.
was not a part of was what
I'm
was
not
the
really
most
getting
important
much out of this
conversation
other than
because of the
like
position what we've been
how the
trying to
merge
do
came
with our
about,
tour.
but like I'm not
But
really
when they came
understanding
back and
why.
said it was a positive
Like,
and that
other
I should have a
than
follow-up meeting, I
they
think that's
share
when things started to develop.
the
So,
media, and I
there you
can
have it. What do you
understand
think
why
about
on
the
a
origins
PGA
of the
Tour
PGA,
part,
PIF?
because the Saudis have on a limited amount of money from like oil and stuff like that. So that's the only reason why I could see they signed a merger. But I don't know. You got to let me know how, like, what the merger consists of, because, or if anybody even knows, because I have no clue. So is it like just with they're able to play in the majors, or like are they possibly able to play in other PGA Tour tournaments other than majors? Like, let me know how that works in the comment section down below.